Hello everyone, welcome back. Today we will be continuing with Unit 5, Globe Trotting, and we are going to look at past perfect simple and past perfect continuous. So by the end of the lesson, you should be able to understand and use the past perfect simple and past perfect continuous correctly. Okay, so first we are going to look at the structure. For past perfect simple, the structure is subject followed by had and the past participle. Past participle di sini bermaksud kata kerja atau verb mesti digunakan dalam bentuk past participle. For example, she had traveled. Untuk ayat negatif pula, for negative sentences, we should add not after had. So we have the subject followed by had not or hadn't and the past participle. For example, she had not traveled or she hadn't traveled. For questions, we bring the had in front, followed by the subject and the past participle. Don't forget to add a question mark at the end. For example, had she traveled? Okay, now that we already know the structure of past perfect simple, let's move on to past perfect continuous. The structure is subject followed by had been and the verb ending with ing. Verb adalah kata kerja, jadi perlu ditambah ing di belakang. For example, she had been traveling. For negative sentences, untuk ayat negatif, tambah not di antara had dan juga been. So we have the subject, followed by had not been or hadn't been, and the verb ending with ing. For example, she had not been traveling, or she hadn't been traveling. For questions, untuk soalan, we bring the had in front, followed by the subject, been, and the verb ending with ing. And again, don't forget your question mark. For example, had she been traveling? Okay, so that is the structure of the past perfect simple and also the past perfect continuous. Now, let's look at the functions or the use of these two tenses. Okay, so we're going to look at the past perfect simple first. The past perfect simple is used to talk about an action which was completed before another action in the past. To help you understand this, let's look at this timeline. The X here represents the present. Okay, X itu melambangkan masa sekarang. So sebelum sekarang, we have the past, and we have the future after that. Okay, so since we're talking about the past perfect simple, we should only be focusing on the past. Alright, so now let's take Aini for example. Last night, Aini went out. With the phrase last night, we know that we are talking about something that happened in the past, sesuatu yang sudah terjadi. So when we talk about the past, we should be using the past simple. She went out. But before Aini went out, she did something else. Before Aini went out, she had cooked. So to describe the action before she went out, we should use the past perfect simple. Okay, so it means that she had cooked, and after she cooked, she went out. And all of this happened in the past. Okay, so the complete sentences should be: last night, Aini had cooked before she went out. Maksudnya, dia masak dahulu, kemudian dia habis masak, baru dia keluar. Or, last night, Aini went out after she had cooked. Okay, now let's move to the past perfect continuous. So the past perfect continuous is used to talk about a past action which started in the past and continued to happen after another action or time in the past. Again, to help you understand this, let's look at this timeline. So the X represents the present, and before the present we have the past, and after that we have the future. Now again, since we are talking about past perfect continuous, so we should only be focusing on the past. Let's talk about me. Last night I arrived home. So again, last night is something that happened in the past, so we should be using the past simple. I arrived home. But before I arrived, and even after I arrived home, my sister had been cooking. So, kalau kamu tengok di sini, my sister, dia mula memasak sebelum saya sampai rumah. Kemudian, dia masih lagi sambung memasak selepas saya sampai rumah. So, to describe this kind of action, we should use the past perfect continuous, as you can see in this example. She had been cooking. And another thing about past perfect continuous is that it focuses on the duration of an action. Maksudnya, fokus diberikan kepada tempoh atau jangka masa sesuatu itu terjadi. As you can see here, she had been cooking for 2 hours. So this kind of situation in the past is described using the past perfect continuous. Okay, so the complete sentence should be, my sister had been cooking for 2 hours when I arrived home last night. Or, I arrived home last night when my sister had been cooking for 2 hours. Maksudnya, kakak saya, dia sudah mula memasak sebelum saya sampai lagi. Kemudian, dia masih lagi sambung memasak selepas saya sampai di rumah. Dan semua ini terjadi in the past. Okay, so now that is the main difference between past perfect simple and also the past perfect continuous. Let's take a recap. The past perfect simple describes a situation where one action happened first and then it stopped and is followed by another action. Meanwhile, the past perfect continuous describes an action which begins in the past and something happened in the middle and the previous action continued after the other action. Okay, so I hope you understand my simple explanation on past perfect simple and past perfect continuous. So that's it for our lesson today. Thank you for watching my video. Stay home, stay safe, and I'll see you in the next lesson. Bye!